Pride is a characteristic that may make or break one's reputation. Too little pride can dilute one's character, limiting his or her self-confidence. Too much pride has potential to be harmful, blinding oneself with overconfidence. In redemption of a quote stated by author Charles Caleb Colton, Henry Dunlap says, "To know a man, observe how he loses his object rather than how he wins it. For when we succeed, our pride supports. When we fail, it betrays us." In the short story Scarlet Ibis by James Hurst, a boy born with severe birth defects leads a short life as a source of shame to his older brother. In 1911, a boy from the South is talking about his younger handicapped brother, Doodle, who narrowly escaped death at a young age, and says, "When Doodle was 5 years old, I was embarrassed at having a brother of that age who couldn't walk, so I set out to teach him."
Doodle, I'm gonna teach you how to walk.
I can't walk, brother. I can't do it. I can't walk.
Who says so?
Mama, the doctor, everybody.
Oh, you can walk. Get up.
Oh, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't.
You're doing it, Doodle. You're doing it.
It is apparent that in this society there are expectations of 5-year-old boys, one of which is the ability to walk. In addition, it is also evident that the narrator feels the need to confirm this expectation. This need is so great that he doesn't even want to be associated with someone who doesn't fit the norm. His pride prevents him from loving his brother for who he is and makes him try to change his brother so that he won't feel humiliated for having a brother that can't walk. The boys spend a long and unsuccessful day of working to make Doodle more like the other boys his age. However, by the end, Doodle knows that he has failed to achieve his goal of being normal, and so he follows his brother hoping for some sign of forgiveness. The narrator is disillusioned by his defeat and full of spite when the storm hits. The narrator tells the reader, "I heard Doodle, who had fallen behind, cry out, 'Brother, brother, don't leave me, don't leave me.' The knowledge that Doodle's and my plans had come to naught was bitter, and that streak of cruelty within me awakened. I ran as fast as I could, leaving him far behind with a wall of rain dividing us." The narrator's broken pride causes him to be spiteful because he is unable to make his brother fit into society's expectations. As a result of this social expectation and his broken pride, the narrator leaves his brother alone and hurt in the rain, and when he finally comes to his senses and goes back to find his brother, Doodle is dead. Once again, social expectations and hurt pride have extremely negative effects. This particular pressure and the need to be normal gives rise to emotions that cause the narrator to let his own brother die. In Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare, two children of opposing families meet, marry, die, and end a long-standing family feud. After Capulet promises Juliet's hand to Paris, he informs Juliet that she is to be wed on Thursday, and when Juliet refuses, he becomes very angry.
Hang thee, young baggage, disobedient wench. I tell thee what, get thee to church on Thursday or never look me in the face. Speak not, reply not, do not answer me, my fingers itch. Wife, we scarce thought ourselves blessed that God had lent us but this only child, but now I see that this one is too much, and that we have a curse in having her. Out on her, Hilding.
God in heaven bless her. You are to blame, my lord, to rate her so.
And why, my lady Wisdom? Hold your tongue, good Prudence, smatter with your gossip, go!
I speak no treason.
Oh God, I good Ian.
May not one speak?
Peace, you mumbling fool! Utter your gravity, or a gossip bowl, for here we need it not! You're too hot. God's bread, it makes me mad, day, night, hour, time, work, time, play, alone in company still my care hath been to have her match. Youthful and nobly trained, stuffed as they say with honorable parts, proportioned with ones would think that would wish a man, and then to have a wretched pulling fool, a whining mammoth in her fortune's tender to answer, I shall not wed, I cannot love, I am too young, I pray you pardon me. But an you will not wed, I'll pardon you. Graze you will, you shall not house with me. Look to it, think on it, I do not to jest. Thursday is near, lay hand on heart advise, and you be mine. I'll give you to my friend, and not to be not hang, beg, starve, die in the streets. For by my soul, I'll never acknowledge thee, nor what is mine shall never do thee good. Trust it, bethink you, I'll not be forsworn.
In this speech, Capulet is talking to his daughter Juliet and shunning her for not agreeing to the marriage he arranged for her. He deems himself as a respectable man and therefore says that he will not go back on his promise to Paris that he can marry Juliet. Rather than hurt his pride by going back on his promise to Paris, Capulet says that he would rather disown Juliet and have her live in the streets, hungry and poor. Capulet values his pride over his own daughter's well-being. This is not only destructive to the relationship, but valuing himself over the well-being of others will be destructive to Capulet as well. Romeo and Mercutio are about after Romeo has married Juliet, but the marriage is still a secret. Tybalt approaches the two of them and insults the Montagues and Mercutio. Thinking of Tybalt as family now rather than an old enemy, Romeo protests that he has done nothing but love Tybalt, but Mercutio does not retrieve the insults as lightly.
I do protest, I never injured thee, but love thee better than thou can devise, till thou shalt know the reason of my love, and so, good Capulet, which name I tender as dearly as my own, be satisfied.
O dishonorable bile, Aristotle carries it. Wilt thou walk, Tybalt?
What dost thou have with me?
But one of your 9 lives, you king of cats, and then to dry beat the other 8.
I am for you.
In this passage, Mercutio is angry at Tybalt for insulting his manhood, therefore damaging his pride. To fix his wounded pride, Mercutio challenges Tybalt to a fight to the death, which leads to his own demise. If Mercutio had not been so prideful, he would have lived. In Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, Pip, a young boy born into a common family, is given the opportunity to advance his social class, and despite his many misadventures, he eventually gains his sense of self-worth. After meeting with Estella, Pip is wandering around the garden where he finds a pale young gentleman. Feeling insulted by his presence, the pale young gentleman tries to fight Pip. While he has no hope of winning, his pride forbids him quitting.
I've never been so surprised in my life as I was when I let out the first blow, and saw him lying on his back, looking at me with a bloody nose and his face exceedingly foreshortened. But he was on his feet directly. After sponging himself off with a great show of dexterity, he began squaring again. And the second greatest surprise I have ever had in my life was seeing him on his back again, looking up out of a black eye.
As the pale young gentleman, later known as Herbert Pocket, and Pip fight in Miss Havisham's garden, Dickens demonstrates to the reader that the pale young boy's pride leads to his demise at the hands of Pip. Herbert is far too proud to give up and let Pip win after he sees that Pip is stronger than he, so he gets up to keep fighting and lets Pip injure him further. Additionally, while Pip is in London, Joe comes to visit him and goes out to eat with him.
As to his shirt collar, his coat collar, they were perplexing to reflect upon. Insoluble mysteries both. Why should a man scrape himself to that extent before he could consider himself full dressed? Why should he suppose it to be necessary to be purified by suffering for his holiday clothes? Then he fell into much unaccountable fits of meditation, with his fork midway between his plate and his mouth, and his eyes attracted in such strange directions. He was afflicted with such remarkable coughs, sat so far from the table and dropped so much more than he ate, and pretended that he hadn't dropped it, and that I was heartily glad when Herbert left us for the city.
During Joe's visit to Pip in London, Pip despises his brother-in-law simply for his attempt to make a good appearance in the world of the wealthy and noble. Pip's pride blinds him, and he feels ashamed about his lower-class past, which Joe represents even in his attempts to look the part. Here, pride is destroying family ties between Pip and his father figure, Joe. In Inherit the Wind by Jerome Lawrence and Robert E. Lee, a school teacher incites a nationwide conflict between creationists and evolutionists, using freedom of speech as ammunition. After Brady proclaims that he is a messenger of God, Drummond speaks to the audience mocking Brady's narcissistic declaration.
And how do you know that God didn't spake to Charles Darwin?
I know because God told me to oppose the evil teachings of that man.
Oh, God speaks to you?
Yes.
And you act accordingly?
Yes.
So you, Matthew, Mary, Harrison, Brady, through oratory, legislation, or whatever, pass along God's orders to the rest of the world? Gentlemen, meet the prophet from Nebraska.
In this speech, Drummond uses Brady's own beliefs to make a satire of him, and forces the people to acknowledge his vanity and pretentious behavior. Brady displays immense amounts of pride throughout the play, regardless of if he is discussing how he talks to God or how great of a lawyer he is. In this speech, however, Brady's pride is diminished by Drummond, and he is portrayed as a fool. Brady is not used to having people deem him as foolish because he always thought himself to be superior, and saw himself as someone people loved and admired. The destructive aspect of pride causes Brady to neglect others and not stop to think how he may be presenting himself to them. When Brady's pride is taken away, he cannot speak and seems to lose himself. Eventually, Brady's pride leads to his demise, therefore showing the destructive power pride has over individuals. After being publicly humiliated by Drummond and the entire legal system, Brady has nothing left. With his pride in tatters, Brady is not the imposing lawyer he once was, but a complaining young child whose feelings have been hurt.
Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi.
Whoa.
Matt. Mother, they're laughing at me. Mother.
No, Matt, no, they're not.
I can't stand it when they laugh at me.
It's alright, baby, it's alright.
In this quote, Brady, who is used to being a respected figure in society, is shown as insecure and hurt, as his pride is diminished by the people laughing at him. His hurt pride causes him to lose his confidence and eventually leads to his demise. With his pride taken from him, Brady is like a child, calling his wife mother, implying that he needs a protection and nurturing. The absence of Brady's pride takes away his manhood and his ability to function in society. All of these books have their own heroes and villains, but an omnipresent antagonist is pride. Pride is what causes Doodle's brother to leave him to die. Pride drives Mercutio to the death at the hands of an equally prideful Tybalt. Pride kills Brady. Pride drives Pip away from his family and causes him to change his morals. Pride drives even the sanest people to the verge of madness. The fear of being different can make someone let their brother die in the rain. An insulted ego can incite a murder. Shattered pride can lead to an inexplicable death. A desire for pride can drive away even the best of friends. Pride can be good for us, but in high doses, it often proves fatal.
Scarlet Ibis. Brother born, birth defects. Older brother teaches to walk, can't row, dies in the rain. Pride. Romeo, Juliet, Macdougall, Capulet. Opposing families, children meet, marry, murder, another murder, coma, one more murder, suicide, suicide, statue, peace. Inherit the wind, school teacher, evolutionist, freedom of speech, creationist prosecutor, skeptical defense attorney, two sides battle while the nation watches. Great expectations, buildings Roman, Pip, Joe, Estella, Havisham, convict, conflict, new life, old friends, common, gentleman.
Ryan, you look as like your skin is the color of your shirt. That's how bad the lighting is. Oh my!
Romeo.
Not attractive at all anymore. One of the Three Stooges is dead. Airbud is like torn open, like roadkill everywhere. It's awful. Like, how cool would that be?
You kick it, you kick. And I grab it. And I drop it. Self-defense.
Oh god. Oh god. Nathan looking like a watermelon. Watermelon. America, root beer, roses, and plant thorns, and dishwashers, and montar and bicicleta, tango mucho nador.
Yeah.
Watering cans.
Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi.
Nick!
Quit smanging!
Oh my, I can't do this.
Valuing himself over the well-being of others would be destructive.
Brady, you can't do that when I'm filming!
Now my arm and make me fall.
It'd be like a slow punch.
laugh, Ryan.
Like slow punch.
Can't laugh. Oh shit! Oh shit!
And
Oh shit!
I am.
That's my shirt.
That's your shirt?
Yes. I'll wear
We're
Nathan.
still dancing, Nick. Come on.
Teach me how to walk.
You gotta teach him.
Go teach me how to walk. Push me. Not that hard. Push me again.
Yeah, you can teach him how to walk.
Teach me how to teach.
Okay, I can't walk.
Walk. You know we out here.
Oh god, I couldn't even.
Gotta step together.
Crab stand.
crap stand.
Are you supposed to like fall?
Done.
Learn today.
I'm just disappointed in you. You used to be my dad, but now you're like.
He was never your dad.
You're not my dad.
Sorry.
Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi.